Supermax players. All three are eligible to make $1.4 million in a season. And I'm telling you right now, if all three get that money, they ain't going to have no bench to save them from Indiana fever or nobody in the WNBA. I mean, they going to have to get players from overseas. They going to have to go down to Brazil somewhere because they ain't finna have no damn body good. I mean, they going to have to be like the Monstars. Sabrina, Jonquel Jones.
Sabrina Ionescu putting an end to all the chatter about New York having depth issues does not change the reality of what that hard cap is about to do to the Liberty roster. Championship windows have a way of closing faster than people expect, and this one might be approaching that point quickly. Meanwhile, the Chicago Sky gave away draft picks just to hold on to a group of players that went 10-34 last season. The WNBA free agency period had barely opened its doors, and the chaos was already in full swing.
And Breanna Stewart. At this point, they're going to take all the team money. Well, I'm here to tell you, her and Breanna Stewart said, you know what? We're not going anywhere. We're just going to stay right here in New York. Now, Jonquel Jones, we ain't heard from her yet. But I'm telling you right now, she might be the one to go. Now, we know she was riddled with injuries during this entire WNBA season, the one that just passed, but Sabrina Ionescu was too. She had a major knee surgery. Y'all can't forget about the knee surgery. So will they give her the money?
Starting with New York, the Liberty are sitting on 3 players who each qualify for the Supermax contract, meaning each one can pull in up to $1.4 million annually. If all 3 collect that full amount, the franchise will be left scraping the bottom of the barrel for supporting talent. Players coming in from international leagues, second-tier rosters, bargain deals, that is the kind of bench situation this team is heading toward. The core would essentially be Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, and Breanna Stewart operating as a 3-person army with very little firepower behind them.
But Sabrina claiming what I'm about to show y'all that she signed already. So she done. I'm choking. Let's pull this up so I can cough real quick, bro. Golly, your boy John Liquidator be going hard, bro. I ain't lie, I be going hard. It got me up here choking trying to talk. Let's listen.
No, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get taken in the expansion draft. So I don't think that was obviously something that I ever thought about. But, you know, obviously I'm where I'm.
Ionescu already made things official. In a recent interview, she addressed her future directly, saying she never expected things to unfold any differently and that she is excited to have the signing behind her and focus on the upcoming season. That confirms her return to New York without any drawn-out drama. Stewart followed shortly after, making her own position crystal clear on a podcast appearance.
But, you know, obviously I'm where I'm supposed to be. Never thought anything different, and so excited to kind of be able to sign and get started. It's coming up really quickly, so kind of excited to get all this, you know, behind us and just be able to start our season and get going in New York. No, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get taken in.
No, that was Sabrina Ionescu, man. Now, she wasn't the only one. Just like I stated, Breanna Stewart did go on the podcast this week and talked about her future in New York as well. Let's blow this up. Let's listen.
I'm going to just set the record straight here.
She stated plainly that she will be staying in New York, that her family is settled there, and that she has no intention of taking free agency meetings despite being an unrestricted free agent. That is a firm commitment to the franchise. The problem with Stewart's announcement, though, is what she did not say. There was no mention of accepting a reduced salary.
What's up? Let's listen.
I'm going to just set the record straight here. I will be staying in New York. I'm not planning on taking any free agency meetings. Even though I am unrestricted free agent, my family is set up here. We're solid here. Exactly. Bring that Statue of Liberty right out here. I'm going to be back in New York, and
that's cool and all, Stewie, but is you going to take the whole 1.4 since you good and all, since you paid and all, you all like this now? How much money you finna take? Is you going to
No talk of giving the front office any financial flexibility. Stewart went to the CBA negotiations as one of the vice presidents on the player side, and she has every reason to believe she deserves top dollar. At 18 points per game with strong playmaking last season, the argument is there. But if she takes the full Supermax, New York's depth situation gets even thinner.
Is you gonna take a pay cut? Because you ain't said nan time, I'm willing to accept whatever offer they give me. I just want to stay here in New York. Now, if you came with that type of energy, I'd be like, man, Stewie good. Stewie ain't finna say nothing about no money. She want that whole 1.4. And you want to know what her excuse is going to be? Well, if it wasn't for me going to the CBA meetings, I'm one of the vice presidents on the board. I deserve the money. That's what she gonna say to New York. I bet you. Because if she was standing on business, she would have said.
Jones is still the unknown piece. She battled injuries throughout the past WNBA season and has not made any public statements about her plans. Given the cap pressure already building, she may end up being the one who moves on either by choice or because the numbers simply do not add up for all three to stay at full salary. Both Ionescu and Stewart's announcements came just ahead of the WNBA expansion draft held on April 3rd for the two newest franchises, the Portland Fire and the Toronto Tempo.
Because if she was standing on business, she would have said that she would have took a pay cut.
And that's all there is to it. So good luck to everybody else in free agency, but I'm not a part of that.
Y'all heard it here first, man. One of the best in the league. She stated her mark. Shout out to New York, man. Shout out to New York. That's fire. You got your free agent.
So that was her on the podcast, man. Letting the world know she here to stay. She ain't going nowhere. We'll see, bro. We'll see. And that pretty much broke the news today. It said the two-time MVP, Breanna Stewart, announced she won't explore for.
The Liberty needed their roster protected before those picks were made, and with both stars committed, the core remains intact entering that process. New head coach Chris DeMarco now has his foundation to build around as the team tries to bounce back from last year's playoff exit and push toward another championship run. Whether the supporting cast will be strong enough to get them there is a completely different question. Over in Chicago, the Sky front office was busy making moves of their own, though not the kind that inspires much confidence.
She won't explore free agency, calling New York home with her family settled there. Ionescu, fresh off a strong season with 18 points and key assists, hyped the core stand intact under new coach Chris DeMarco. Their commitments come right before Friday's WNBA expansion draft for the Portland Fire and Toronto Tempo, protecting the Liberty roster as they aim to rebound from last year's playoff exit toward a repeat championship, which I believe the writing's on.
The team struck agreements with both Portland and Toronto, trading draft picks to ensure that neither expansion franchise would pull players off Chicago's unprotected list during the draft. In exchange, Portland received the number 17 pick in place of the number 21, while Toronto walked away with the number 26 pick originally belonging to the New York Liberty. Toronto now controls picks number 5, 21, and 32 heading into the April 13th WNBA draft, giving them a strong hand in building their new roster. For Chicago, the move keeps the current group together.
Guess what's not there, much like at the Barbie convention? There is no Barbie night. And Angel Reese fans are starting to crash out over there not being a Barbie night. You can't make this shit up, folks. You really can't. We'll get to that in a second. Trade alert! Merp, merp, merp. The Sky have reached agreements with the Portland Fire and Toronto.
The reaction from fans was swift and not particularly kind. A team that went 10-34 last season spent assets just to preserve a roster that many believe needs to be completely torn apart, not protected. Comments pointed out that no one in the front office has faced any real consequences for the direction the franchise has taken. Players like Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso were singled out as talent that deserves a better situation, athletes capable of competing at a high level who are being kept on a sinking ship instead of being given a real shot at the playoffs.
Tempo ahead of the expansion draft. As a result, neither team will select a player from Chicago's unprotected list in the expansion draft. So let me get this straight. And if you're looking for me to break down specifics of an expansion draft, you got to trade? Nah. Number 5 overall, first round. Number 21. Number 32. That's the WNBA picks. Right here.
The league is expanding to 15 teams starting May 8th, which makes every roster move between now and then carry extra weight. Both the Fire and the Tempo are building from scratch, hungry for talent, and willing to deal. Chicago chose to pay to keep things the same. Whether that ends up being a savvy protection of young talent or just another chapter in a rough stretch for the franchise will become clear soon enough.
It looks like the Fire will receive a second round 17th pick And the Tempo, they are getting a round 2 pick 26 in all this. So there's that. All right. Now, in this fire trade, they get a round 2 pick 21. Yeah, out of that. By the way, the second round picks, probably a player.
The Chicago Sky have made headlines ahead of the expansion draft, and the reaction has been equal parts disbelief and frustration. Chicago struck deals with both the Portland Fire and the Toronto Tempo, with each expansion team agreeing to pass on any player from the Sky's unprotected list. The price for that guarantee was a pair of second-round picks, the 17th overall going to Portland and the 26th overall heading to Toronto. Second-round selections at those positions rarely produce impact players, which makes parting with them a tangible cost for a team that finished 10-34 last season.
That's going to do absolutely nothing out of there. What is funny, however, is the fact that Chicago felt anybody on their roster was worth protecting. I mean, that's the story here. Is that all right? Yeah. I think it's a good day for business. It was April Fool's, and this shit was for real. Angel Reese on the Chicago Sky.
The core of the criticism is simple. Spending draft assets to preserve a roster that ranked near the bottom of the league by record is a difficult thing to justify. The immediate question it raises is which player on that squad the organization considered valuable enough to shield from selection. That question alone has driven much of the online response, with a large portion of observers struggling to identify a convincing answer. Angel Reese is the name at the center of everything, as she tends to be when Chicago makes news.
Yeah, we all know them houses that's got the nice cars, but the house looks like it should be condemned. We all know. Seriously, making trades to keep a squad together that went check notes 10-34. Nobody has been fired. Blatant money laundering. Yeah. I mean, this is.
Her fan base was already vocal heading into this week, and the trade announcement pushed that energy higher. Connecticut and Atlanta emerged as the most commonly discussed potential destinations in fan speculation, with a clear undercurrent of sentiment that Reese would be better served by a move away from the current situation. The recurring argument is that the franchise has not built around her in a way that reflects her commercial and competitive value. The second piece of news fueling all of this is the Sky's release schedule of themed game nights for the 2026 season.
It's not good. This has got to be an April Fool's joke. It's not. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, which basketball player are you trying to protect? That's good. Basketball. I hadn't thought about that one. Dumbest trade I've seen. You were 10-34 last season, and you just traded 2 draft picks to run it back with the same people. Laughing my ass off. I see you're trying to keep Angel locked down.
The calendar covers a range of events: Women's Cancer Awareness Night, a World Culture Celebration, Pride Night, a Sneaker and Fashion Evening, Mental Health Night, Marvel Superhero.
Well, yeah. Let's just go over here. Our 2026 game schedule is here. Themed games. And I thought this might have been April Fool's until I really started looking and thought, nah, they're not going to throw Women's Cancer Awareness and Juneteenth. Now, that would be funny. Juneteenth, it'd be funny. But
the frustration was directed squarely at the front office, with fans questioning whether the team genuinely understands what drives interest in their product. Reese has been the primary reason many of her supporters engage with the Sky at all, and a theme schedule that makes no acknowledgement of that draw landed poorly. Season ticket sales came up in the conversation as well, with some fans publicly stating they had declined to renew. The broader mood among a vocal section of the fan base reflects a longer-running dissatisfaction, a sense that the organization repeatedly makes decisions that do not reflect an understanding of its own situation.
They didn't. So, opening night, Women's Cancer Awareness, World Culture, Juneteenth, okay. Pride Night, Sneaker and Fashion, what? Sports matter. Wait a minute. Sports matter. Sports lives matter. Oh, that's racist, Rhodes. Mental health.
Trading away draft picks to protect players from a 1-0 win season while simultaneously releasing a promotional calendar that sidesteps the team's most prominent name is the kind of combination that produces exactly the reaction Chicago received this week. Whether a trade involving Reese is actually in motion remains unclear, but the speculation has clearly taken hold, and the franchise's recent choices have done little to quiet it.